For only £150, I was able to generate 140,000 worth of revenue and 36k in closed deals. My name is Warren. I've been doing digital marketing for the last 8 years now. I've worked with hundreds of clients and I've spent a combined 7.5 million on Meta and Google ads. In this video, I'm going to break down actually a different system, which is how I used email marketing and how I've used email marketing over the years, just cold email campaigns to generate revenue for clients and myself. So I'm going to go over in this video a quick, simple, multi-step process. And in this process, it's really all about how you can take an offer that's hopefully evergreen and get in front of the ideal customer avatar for a low cost. So I used Instantly as well as GPT and DeepSeek to help hone in. What I did was I went online, and for this offer, I found a directories list. Now you can find directories list quite easily. These are lists obviously provided online, a list that is really generated so that other people can find the businesses quite easily and people within the same sector, but it doesn't give away any customer details, so you can't get the email, you can't get anything like that. Using DeepSeek and also using GPT, I wrote a code. Now I have no coding experience, and I used that code to plug into my MacBook's terminal. So I'll show you a quick screenshot of the Python script that in the end worked. At first, obviously, there was issues. It didn't work. There was a bit of back and forth that needed to be done. Took about 10 minutes total, and obviously DeepSeek free. After that was done, we then got the lead list and plugged it onto Instantly. Now with Instantly, you can buy emails, and an important thing is that you warm up the domains. So obviously we had the domain already, and it was just about warming up these email addresses. So that does take a little bit of time, but once you can get past that, you're ready to go and ready to start sending emails. Now for this campaign in particular, it was a 3-step campaign, and each point was a different pain point and angle. It wasn't a campaign that was specifically split for, say, up to where it was like warm audience, and then go for the kill, go for the call to action. It was 3 different pain points these people may find for the unique offer. It also broke down to about 10 to 13 per email copy. So for example, one I think did 12 positive replies and to leading to bookings. One did like 11, and then one did 10 or something like that. It was very, very similar, showing that kind of approach can still work, and it doesn't just necessarily have to be a one-dimensional system. So ultimately what happened was we launched the campaigns spanned on a 2 to 3 day window. Obviously the campaign was wrote in a specific way, but also with the help of AI. Now I ran it through systems that I've used over the years for ad copy, which is basically who, what, where, when, why, and immediately who you're calling out. So the person who's reading it, make them feel attached, make them feel like you're speaking to them directly. After that, then it's why are you reaching out? What have you got to offer? And then obviously sometimes it could be educational pieces, sometimes it could be a more direct call to action. There's loads of different ways you can go about it, but for these campaigns it was really important that AI was used just to see and showcase the power that it can deliver, because realistically I know I made a few tweaks from things that I've done over the years, things that I've learned, but ultimately it could have been done without that. The AI itself could have carried through to still get the same results. So all in all, it was a multi-part system. There was a lot of qualification with the leads, of course. Making sure that you have the ideal customer avatar that is in line with your offer is really important. But it just goes to show that you can get results for a far cheaper amount. You don't need to spend thousands on agencies. You can get them yourself, or you can get these results for clients using AI to build out your lead list as opposed to just purchasing one. Now, one thing I'll say is that I've spent a lot of time over the years in different local service-based business, and it can be quite difficult with good lead lists. So if you can go for a more evergreen offer on a blue ocean, so it's part of a book blue ocean strategy. Essentially, you want to go somewhere that it's more opportunity. It might be a newer market, and hence the lead list that you collect and you build, they might not have been reached out to before, or if they have, it's a low amount. Because if you're looking for, say, dentistry, a very competitive market, it can be quite difficult to reach them via email. You got to do high numbers. I've spent thousands on agencies. I've spent thousands myself trying to get in contact with them. And you can, and I've signed clients and I've made the money back and more. However, it's a tougher market to cold email. So I would say as an important tip, make sure that you're competing in a market and going for a target audience that let's just say, is more open to you. It hasn't been overexposed yet. If you're going for a really hyper competitive space, then I would say you got to have your offer nailed in, and you've got to have your unique selling point. Or if you have a massive amount of authority, trust, maybe they've seen you before, that could also work too. But just to be very mindful when you're going into this, that it's not necessarily going to generate you the revenue, if you're going in a maybe a harder market that I'm projecting out with this campaign. But it's ultimately important to realize that you can do these things for a really cheap amount. Obviously, it's not essentially free, but it's very difficult for free, because you need the email lists, you need to build them up. If you were to send these emails one by one by one by one, and you took your time with them, yeah, you could get the results, but the time taken could be months and months on end. This took a couple of hours in total, so it's something that you can really scale, something that you can really bring to your business or a client's business. Okay, if you'd like more information, comment below or send me a message. If there's anything I can help you with, I will. And yeah,